Recorded Books and RB Digital present Children of Refuge, Children of Exile, Volume 2, by Margaret Peterson Haddix. Narrated by Ramón de Ocampo. Prologue. The man lunged out of the darkness to grab me as I ran by. "Let go!" I screamed, struggling to break away. "Let me go!" I was already being chased by a pack of angry men. It didn't seem fair that someone I hadn't even seen was after me, too. Of course, my friend Rosi had told me once that I had a talent for making people mad. Rosi. She'd been running from the angry men, too. Had she at least managed to get away safely? I glanced over my shoulder, as if there was some way to see through the darkness and multiple rows of houses to make sure that she'd gotten back to her own home undetected. I'd been crashing through the trees and bushes beside the creek as loudly as possible, trying to get everyone to chase me, not her. But I'd been counting on being able to run fast enough that no one caught up. "Good," an oily voice whispered in my ear. "Now you understand that screaming is useless." No, I was just... Before I could add, deciding what to scream next, a thick hand slid over my mouth. It smelled like onions and sweat and mud and... I don't know, maybe puke as well. Yes, definitely the puke part. I bit down, my teeth sinking into the palm of the world's stinkiest hand. The man jerked his hand back and muttered a few words I was pretty sure were swears. Having spent my first 12 years in Fredtown, the most boring place in the universe, I'd heard that there was such a thing as cursing, but had never been exposed to any actual curses. I'd left Fredtown only a few days ago, but those few days had been an education. "Now you understand that holding on to me is useless," I said, which would have been a great last line before slipping away. "All hail the mighty Edwy Watanabonaset, escape artist extraordinaire," I thought. But the man's right arm was like a chain around my middle. I squirmed and shoved, and the rock-like bulge of his muscles didn't budge. Maybe I could be an escape artist extraordinaire only in Fredtown, where the only people I'd ever had to escape were little kids and mild-mannered, unsuspecting Freds. Maybe I'd have to outsmart this man instead. "Do you know who I am?" I demanded. "Do you know who my parents are? Do you know what they'd do to anyone who hurt me?" I was just finishing my first full day at home, back with the parents who gave birth to me anyway, after the long overnight trip from Fredtown, but I'd already seen how everyone tiptoed around my parents. "Yes, Mr. Watanabonaset." "As you wish, Mrs. Watanabonaset." How many times had I heard someone speak those words? My parents ruled, in a way that would have horrified every single adult in Fredtown. I could get used to that kind of power. Except that my parents wanted to rule me, too. "Yes, of course I know who you are," the man whispered in my ear. "You are a boy who will be killed if I hand you over to the men chasing you." Killed? I told myself he was just trying to scare me, exaggerating wildly. But Rosi and I had been running away from a scary place neither of us understood, a scene of destruction where I was pretty sure people had died. A long time ago, years in the past. "I'm going to keep screaming," I told the man. "Everyone will hear, and someone else will come running. Someone who works for my family, probably. And then you will be in trouble. You're the one who should be worried about being killed." The man clamped his hand back over my mouth, and this time he hooked his thumb over my nose and his pinky under my chin so I couldn't move my jaw. He slid his right arm up so that the crook of his elbow pressed painfully against my Adam's apple. Back in Fredtown, all the adults would faint dead away just at the thought of one person holding another person in that dangerous...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?